Welcome to Subramani. Please subscribe, please hit the bell icon, please share it with friends, relatives, foes, colleagues, classmates, cousins, family, whoever you have, because it's the only way for me to increase my subscription. I don't have a sales budget. You are my sales budget, right? Sorry to say this, but it's the truth. I was thinking of doing two videos on two different topics, but I realized that they are somewhat related to. Many people are very happy when they get a big tax refund. Actually, it is something to be ashamed about, because you have paid too much tax, which means you have lent money to Mr. Modi, and he's giving it back to you, luckily these days with some interest. But if you file your return on the dot and you paid excess advance tax, you are bound to get back the money with interest, and that's good for you. There's no penalty for not paying, not filing the return, etc. So first of all, if you've got a refund, don't celebrate. You should be mourning, because you have estimated your income wrong. If you are a salaried employee, it means your employer estimated your income wrong, which means you should sit with your employer and say, look, this is not, you've deducted too much tax. And believe me, the employer, if he takes a little bit of trouble, can actually refund the money there itself. You don't have to file a return to get it. This is for salaried employees. For business employees, they always err on the side of caution, saying, when the chartered accountant says pay 15 lakhs advance tax, you say, sir, should I pay 16 lakhs and make it a little extra? So yes, possible that you paid a little extra and your income didn't add up, or you bought some assets, you got depreciation, you hadn't planned for it, or whatever reasons. Whatever reasons you get a tax refund for, normally it is not good news, because you have paid in excess and you have drained your working capital, right? So it is not a smart thing to get a tax refund. But in case you have got a tax refund, what should you do with the tax refund? Because many people think of this as free money. Oh, I got a tax refund, the excess 2 lakh rupiya aa gaya, excess 4 lakh rupiya aa gaya. Boss, it's not true. It's your money which has come back, which wrongfully had gone. Right. So there are three things you can do with this money. One is build your emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund, put this money into an emergency fund. If you have enough emergency fund and you have debt, whatever be the debt, you have some car loan, you have personal loan, you have a home loan, whatever it is, and it's a big, whatever be the total amount, just take this money and pay off that loan, right? Because this money has come, which is extra. You never thought this is going to come, or you thought it is going to come after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like it used to take earlier. Now, thanks to the improvement in the admin, you're getting this refund very quickly. So use this money there, or in a worst case scenario, split it three ways. One, repay the debt, repay some whatever debt you have. Second, put it in an investment for your retirement, right? Your retirement investment box, as I call it, put it into that. And 1/3 you spend it on yourself. So that way you will be happy, saying, okay, I spent 70,000 rupees, I took my family to maybe somewhere near Goa or Karjat or some place if you're staying in Bombay, and we did a 2-day weekend vacation, and that's what we did. So we spent that money. So whatever, so something like that you should have. But next year, make sure that your advance tax payment is done more sensibly, more scientifically, and in case of depreciation, etc., make sure that you tell all that to your chartered accountant before the chartered accountant arrives at your advance tax calculation. This is as far as advance tax and taxation is concerned. It also brings us to another question: what are the papers that we have to preserve, and for how long? Certain documents you have to preserve for the rest of your life and the life of the asset. Something like like your birth certificate, your school leaving certificate, your passport, Aadhaar card, PAN card, etc. You have no choice. You have to have it for the rest of your life. In case you get a new PAN card, you should destroy the old PAN card, because there is obviously some change in that, right? Either your spelling has been corrected, or your address has been corrected, or your phone number has been corrected. So please don't use the old Aadhaar card. But for an emergency, like for example, if somebody has come to your house to collect to give you a parcel and ask for some identity using your old Aadhaar card is still fine. But otherwise your passport, your Aadhaar card, your birth certificate, your all these things are permanent. There is no question of how long should I keep it. So either you put it in a nice folder and keep it at home, or some people take a locker and put it in the bank. I wouldn't put it in the bank. I put it in a nice plastic folder, and it's kept at home. I know exactly where it is. These are permanent documents. Your housing papers, your mortgage, even if you have bought and sold a house and you have copies of what you did, what transactions you did, please keep them. You never know when some question can come up. Somebody else comes and says, oh, actually I sold that house for 1.3 crores and you have shown 1.01, or you've shown less than 1 crore, maybe you showed 94 lakhs. Then there is some chance that the question will come up as to saying, why was this undervalued? What happened? Is there a cash element to it, right? So some kind of investigation. If that investigation happens, you will need all these papers, right? Don't ignore, don't think, oh, I have done the transaction 5 years back. 99% nothing will happen. But in case that there is a raid on the person who sold it to you or the person who bought it from you, then there's a good chance that they will call you, ask you for the documents, and he himself might be very busy now because of the raid. So he may not be forthcoming with all the details. So it is necessary for you to preserve all those details, use it, and make sure that the income tax authorities are satisfied. So these are the permanent documents. Do you need to keep all your expense documents, etc.? For a businessman, maybe for 7 years. For a person who is a salaried person, no. But you should also keep all the papers of the assets that you have bought, which are not so permanent in nature. Your washing machine, fridge, your bed, your furnishing, whatever else you have in your house, which is not very cheap, right? If you buy a stapler, you're not going to keep those papers. Those are all drawings. But if you are a businessman and you've spent money on things which are used for the office, it's fairly obvious that you should keep those things at least till the order is passed, and no income tax officer is going to ask you for too much details like did you buy a stapler, show us proof, show us the bill. None of us preserve it also, right? But if you make payment through your card or UPI or even through cash, and if you have kept track of all those expenses and you claim, it is important for you to keep those till the order is passed. It is also possible that the order is revised within 3 years. So keeping your papers for 6-7 years is perfectly all right. Though of course assets, you should keep it till you are using the assets. So if you have a 20-year-old fridge bought in maybe 2004, it is important for you to keep those papers, because when you sell, you might require it. Somebody might ask you what, I mean, there is no question of warranty in a second-hand fridge, but where did you buy it? What did you have for it, right? So keeping those papers are also important. But it also means that you can shred a lot of things. You don't have to keep papers beyond 7 years for income tax purposes. So if you have bought a fridge some 12 years back or 14 years back and you have now sold it off, nobody is going to bother you about those things. But keeping these papers which you claim as investment, which you claim as expenses, etc., is imperative. You have to keep track of all these things and make sure that don't unnecessarily clutter things, but whatever you have, you should know where it is, how well it is kept, etc., so that in case you need it for some reason, for filing your return or so whatever reason, you should be able to access it. So keeping it makes sense. Will you keep it in the place where you can find it? That is your challenge. Thank you.